the supporter collective meeting between the Red and White Army, the Branch Liaison Council, some senior supporters, and Sunderland AFC. Welcome, peasants. In light of the significance of this meeting, Red and White Army have felt compelled to make an opening statement prior to the main agenda. A huge amount of feedback has been collated by Red and White Army from member emails, social media, message boards, and via an open meeting held last week. We are not soiled by extreme points on social media. That will never be the barometer of fan feeling. The third round tie was a complete mess, and whilst this debacle alone has had an impact on how supporters perceive the way our club is run, it has also brought into focus what are now long-standing concerns. The message from fans to the owners and decision makers at the club is very clear. We have had enough. We had enough of being taken for granted. We've had enough of being an afterthought. We've had enough of town shop merchandise when it's actually in stock. We have had enough of the level of customer service that would make a League Two club blush. We've had enough of the lack of pride at the stadium and the institution that is SAFC. We've had enough of the decisions that walk all over the sensibilities and pride of generations of Sunderland supporters. Red and White Army have attempted to push matters relating to all of these issues for 2 years. There was some initial acceptance that you inherited a mess and the academy and other football matters were the priority. But now we are tired of raising the same issues, and sadly we're at the point now where if you cannot illustrate progress and firm commitments to change with deadlines, Red and White Army must question whether it is worthy continuing to engage with the club and walk away. All other supporter groups endorsed that statement made by the Red and White Army. The BLC were equally concerned and also questioning whether they should interact with the club further should they not listen to fan feedback. The club acknowledged that statement, agreeing it was a good idea, and will own this point moving forward in presenting the updates at the start of each supporters collective, moving swiftly on, getting agreement for the format of the meeting and general housekeeping rules. All parties at the meeting agreed to fully focus on the business operations, considering feedback received by the members of supporter groups. Additional matters will be discussed at the next meeting. I don't want to sell tickets, but in accordance to FA regulations and guidelines, Rule 191 for competition matches other than the semi-final or the final, the away club shall have the right to claim either A, up to 15% of the tickets issued, up to a maximum of 9,000, or B, if the ground is not all ticketed, up to 15% of the ground's capacity, provided that 191.1 the tickets are for administration to fully segregated area and or 192 the request for the tickets is made within 4 days of the relevant draw. 192 the home club shall comply with any request for the tickets made in accordance with Rule 191. Newcastle requested the full 15%. During discussions with the FA, Safety Advisory Group and Northumbria Police, the three options for housing the away fans were the North Stand Upper, the South Stand and the entire North Stand. Safety and operational viability dictated that the entire North Stand was the only option. The factors that led to this conclusion were as follows. The South Stand, the Roker end, was dismissed due to it being our home end. We wouldn't have been able to carry out the enhanced searches required for 6,000 fans housed in the upper tier only. Housing both home and away fans in the North Stand would have created a complex number of challenges, including fan interaction upon entry and exit. By only housing away fans in the North Stand, we were able to create a fully segregated zone inside and outside the stadium. The North Stand lower is not traditionally an away end, and it was only considered as competition rules determine all safe and operational viable options must be explored to satisfy the request of the away club. SAFC were not the only club impacted by this, with home fans also displaced in this season's competition. Examples when Liverpool travelled to Arsenal and Bristol City travelled to West Ham United. Historical instances whereby regionalised opposition were given a smaller allocation than competition regulations state. Adding that SAG governance has changed and the decision making for Middlesbrough fixture would have involved two local policing bodies, which adds another layer of complexity. That Middlesbrough likely requested more tickets, but none of the current SAFC staff were around during that time to confirm. Newcastle's allocation was only permitted if they committed to facilitating and fully funding the bubble trip movement to and from the stadium. In response to a question about why the North Stand upper only was discounted, it was explained that the club did not expect the 6,000 to get approved and the lower allocation would have seen only the upper stand used. There were 4 separate meetings with the SAG and numerous meetings with Northumbria Police. The FA reiterated to us that Sunderland had to comply with the rule when approached. We did not test this and we did not push back either. Our fans absolutely would expect you to push back on this, but the club had no grounds to challenge the regulations, and in the event of a replay, we would have been given 6,000 tickets for St James's Park. What a crop of crap. We can challenge any request or approach that we want. Neither of those words in that rulebook that he's using are strong enough for a club to say no if they really wanted to. The rules in there are to guide a club on how to deal with something, not to outright dictate against common sense. Steve Davidson using that rulebook as a defence shows no backbone at all. Anyways, back to the main notes. Did the safety officer okay the allocation of away fans to the whole north stand before or after the upper only option was discounted? The club would look at the numbers for the upper option only after the whole stand was ruled out as an option. That never happened. The match operated safely. There were only 6 arrests at the game, 15 ejections of the away fans, 14 were in the hospitality area, and there were no delays to fans entering the grounds. The visuals associated with the club's handling of allocation of tickets have been appalling. The Red and White Army had to convey the fans' extreme disappointment and anger that the club did not push back, and believes that if the club did, the FA would have asked for a local solution to be found, and this would have led to lower allocations for Newcastle fans. They spoke with the FA several times before approaching Newcastle and doubted a low allocation would have been permitted. Many of the North Stand season ticket holders are unhappy, feeling neglected. The BLC are aware of several fans not being able to purchase alternative tickets around the stadium that were in general admission seats until other season ticket holders had their pick first. So not only are they moved, but they're kicked down the pecking order just because they were a North Stand ticket holder. Even those that sit together had to wait. Only 5,500 general admission tickets in Phase 1 available. To those 4,000 North Stand season ticket holders, we made a choice to not have other season ticket holders have to wait for the North Stand fans, as the majority of those season ticket holders are single-seated. We're gonna do it anyway. Greater consideration and engagement could have been made throughout the process, but we're gonna do it anyway. Selling admission to Newcastle fans to the Black Cats bar wasn't a consideration to begin with. However, when the whole stand was confirmed and chosen as the only suitable location, the decision was then made to open and charge Newcastle for the usage of the facilities, as the area wasn't accessible to our fans. To make sure club branding and iconography in that space was not damaged, the club agreed with Newcastle to cover these with generic signs, and we requested these to be submitted for approval. The Black Cats bar has been handed over to our rivals to earn money. How much revenue did this bring in? The tickets cost £500 each plus VAT, and there were around 300 sold. The decision not to outright close the Black Cats bar is a disgrace. Some people within this meeting, senior managers including KLD, completely misjudged the importance of the rivalry as a derby both today and historically. This decision and its consequences will be thrown in the faces of Sunderland fans forever, one of the worst decisions that has been made since you lot have took over the club. The perception is that all of these decisions have been made to simply make as much money as possible. The allocation of tickets and financial distribution of revenue was dictated by competition rules and nothing else. Sunderland received revenue in line with the competition rules. When will the investigation be concluded? Stage 1 has already been concluded and a serious error in judgment has been identified. The club will make no excuses for the mistake, and I am sorry. The club needs to ensure that this will never happen again. An emergency board meeting was held the evening the pictures of the Black Cats bar were released. It's also important that we announce the findings of a review after publicly announcing an investigation is taking place. Some serious actions will follow, and the outcomes will be communicated as transparently as possible. The club needs to understand the environment in which the decision to brand the Black Cats bar in black and white was taken. The environment was selling tickets at £600 each and wanting them to feel at home. The investigation is still ongoing, and out of respect for those involved, we will conclude the results internally. Again, the allocation of tickets and finance distribution was dictated by the rules and nothing else. This has been a tremendous mistake, and the club needs to take steps to make sure it will never happen again. The busy Christmas fixtures period and pressures on the business is why we had an oversight in consulting with the fans. The club should and could have liaised with the fans. I'm sorry we didn't do this.
I don't believe it! Don't believe it.
Either, if fan consultation happened, it would have identified immediately many problems that could have been avoided. Fan groups were involved in previous high-profile games, and the club's current senior management has made some massive errors here, which has also ruined their relationship with many fans. It was also noted that the fans groups were very responsive to requests for consultation, often at late notice, including between Christmas and New Year in 2022, so it is not the case that there is no time for meaningful consult. Customer service has not been good enough, and servicing fans must be at the core of the club's future ethos. There are, however, some service restrictions due to ongoing contracts and agreements that cannot be addressed until these expire. Ticketmaster is an example. The performance within those contracts is being addressed, and work is ongoing in the background to define the future path. It's draining answering fan questions that should, quite frankly, be coming from the club and not other fans. Will extra staffing and resources be provided in this area so that fans can ring the ticket office and speak to a club employee? Dave Bruce, the Chief Marketing Officer, fair play to him, is actually agreeing that it's not acceptable for the club to not answer fans in a timely manner. We've been raising this for 2 years. What are you actually going to do about it? In response, the club committed to sharing initial plans for customer service improvements relating to the ticket office by Friday the 16th of February. These issues have been discussed at many meetings and nothing has yet improved. Also, Sunderland have a Premier League level infrastructure and fan base, but the staffing levels do not reflect this. The employees are constantly having to be reactive rather than proactive in helping fans. Resourcing has improved overall, but that is not apparent in customer service. Supporters are the most important thing to the club. Our aim is to have Sunderland as the most fan-centric club in the country. There is an action list and fans will be able to see improvements. The actions of the club contradict this. This is the first meeting since February 2023 and an 11-month gap is proof of not being fan-centric. Fans will see improvements within the next 6 months. Did KLD actually read any of the previous meeting notes? If not, can you commit to doing it going forward? Also, a report from the support collective can be submitted at board meetings so that the club are fully aware of the fans' concerns and sentiment. That sounds like a good idea. We can do this going forward. David Bruce revealed that the club will have a new technical partner and an updated retail operation from the 24-25 season. Although the club cannot confirm suppliers at this stage, they clarified it is not Sports Direct and stated that an April announcement is penciled in. When we chose the supplier, the focus was to ensure they will prioritise Sunderland, offer a best-in-class bespoke services and have our fans at the heart of their offering. We will get custom products, custom ranges, product availability and superior service levels. There will be a broader range of products for women and juniors who will have a direct option from the adult male range. We've ordered 3 times as much stock for the next season. This is the result of fans telling us in previous meetings and listening across social media. Our fans should expect to see extensive improvements in this area very soon. Did you know it's still easier to buy a Newcastle shirt in the city of Sunderland than it is for a Sunderland kit? Is the merchandising going to be more widely available across the region? Bruce agrees that merchandise must be more widely available, adding that the new retail operation partner is world leading and work is being done to identify suitable outlets. The fans have repeatedly shouted up about how difficult it is to get a hold of a kit when it launches. The low levels of kit supply and the lateness of the launches, normally on the eve of a season, means the club is missing out on serious revenue. We could launch on the last day of the season. This will allow for sales during the whole summer period. While there are many factors and variables to consider inside and outside of the club's control, we want to ensure the kit is available to fans as soon as possible, and the new partnerships commencing in 2024 will give Sunderland greater control over the release. I can give you examples of poor customer service from this club and why a phone service for ticketing is needed. There was a fan based in West Yorkshire to resolve an issue obtaining a plastic ticket when all it took was a chat over the phone. Also, some fans would charge £5 on top for printed FA Cup tickets at the box office. Club representatives at this meeting were unaware that a £5 charge had been applied and confirmed the charge should never have been in place and that they'd look into it further. The supporters groups are providing the customer support service that this club needs, when this should really be run by the club itself. A telephone system for customer support is a basic business need, especially for our ticket office. The club has a service agreement in place with Ticketmaster. They're able to pick up all inquiries during peak times. We use this service to help the club facilitate more than 3,000 contacts per day. This is via phone, email and in person during the FA Cup tickets purchase period. Before this meeting, I called 30 other EFL club ticket officers for support. Everyone with the exception of Sunderland were able to deal with my questions and forward me to the relevant department. I called all the Championship and League One clubs. Every ticket office answered except for ours.
Thank you for calling Sunderland Football Club. Due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, all areas of the business remain closed until further notice. Thank you for your understanding at this difficult time and please stay safe.
We've hired a new ticket office manager, Robert Holmes. He's new in role and is working on addressing issues with the operations of the office. It's good to see someone get hired in that role. I think he's already had some good impact already. There are only a handful of providers that can meet the demands of ticketing at Sunderland. That said, the needs of our supporters must be considered when implementing a solution, and we have 18 months left on the Ticketmaster contract. Additionally, all non-digital season tickets will be available for next season. The ticket office staff were publicly blaming the digital ticketing rollout on the AFL and league regulations, but we all know it's 100% a Sunderland decision. We will address this inaccuracy, and the club will remain committed to sharing phase 1 of the ticket office improvement plans with the fans by Friday the 16th of February. We have made a few of the changes to the Stadium Lights infrastructure since the last supporters collective. This includes Quinn's Sports Bar refurbishment, the Montgomery Suite refurbishment, a significant spend on structural steelwork and paintwork which is severely impacted by the stadium's proximity to the coast, extensive investment in executive and public catering to enhance services, including implement a click and collect technology and their equipment, upgraded to all public areas of the stadium to LED lighting, excluding the Premier Concourse, improvements to the Stadium of Light pitch, investing in the equipment, people and processes. Continued redevelopment of the Academy of Light, including the terrace, that's the player and staff refectory. A transformer failure at the start of October has had a knock-on effect to further development and improvement plans. The stadium looks run down and there is an air of neglect. This must be addressed. How do you plan on sorting this out? The PA system is awful and needs to be replaced. The club has invested and will continue to invest in the infrastructure. I do appreciate that these improvements are mainly behind the scenes and the fans should start to see improvements shortly. The club could share good news items with the fans to make the people aware of the improvement projects, which could also be published and detail lead staff, clear actions and timelines. Fans would welcome this. There are internal development and improvement plans. Sharing the objectives publicly would be of value. In previous meetings for supporter collective representatives, we did a walk around the stadium with facilities manager and highlighted concern. The actions could not be shared with other fans as the club did not agree the action points, meaning that this meeting are meaningless. Red and White Army attempted to have these signed off by the club 7 times, which is completely unacceptable. That's a clear mistake and we're sorry for that. This is unacceptable and the club must do better. More walkabouts should be held involving supporters to identify stadium issues and improvements. Can the club commit to at least 1 walkabout per year? The away support location was last discussed in 2023 and since then the measures have been introduced to address previously highlighted issues. These were searching away fans upon entering the stadium, operating enhanced searches of away fans for high risk fixtures, enhancing the club's internal CCTV network, banning coins and vapes in the North Upper Stand Upper, investing in improved LED lighting in the North Upper Stand, proactively engaging with the opposition clubs ahead of all fixtures. This has dramatically reduced incidents. The club has also commissioned an independent consultant to review how continued improvements can be made, and results from this consultation has already informed and will continue to inform additional operational changes. The club's current fan arrangement is extendable to 3,000 away fans as required by the Premier League. On the Premier League, there's a rule requiring a pitch-side presence of away fans. Are there any plans to move the away supporters? Sunderland should treat opposition fans as we would like ours to be treated. The current location of away fans negatively impacts the atmosphere and the noise in the ground. This is my opinion, of course, but the club should consider a full consultation with the fans on the location of away fans to put the matter to bed once and for all. Everyone has a different opinion and there's no easy solution. The club will consider a request for a fan consultation on this subject. There is continued dialogue with the SAG and SGSA. There are some risks, including migration, that must be eliminated before safe standing can be implemented. The club has started to tackle migration over the past 18 months and it is reduced, but additional work still needs to be done. Investment in rail seating is being discussed at the next board meeting and fan consultation will begin immediately, subject to the board approval. The club will be engaging with the Spirit of 37 to understand what the future holds for the group. We support the fantastic displays that this group delivers. The fanbase are frustrated at the difficulties that the Spirit of 37 have faced putting on displays, including the recent Derby Day display, but I respect that a separate meeting will take place with the people involved with the Spirit of 37. We have covered a lot of this area already in the meeting, but I will emphasise Sunderland are committed to improving its service culture. We understand we've let fans down in certain areas and no improvement is central to how we move forward. Fans must be at the heart of what the club does. There must be dates in the diary that the club can commit to, and there should be working groups for key topics. I can reveal that a new digital services partner has been confirmed, and this agreement will commence in 2024. This will include a new website and mobile app. A new 3-year business strategy and brand strategy are also currently being finalised, and this will inform a new comms and engagement strategy. I hope you are still aware that not all fans are on social media. With that in mind, are all communication channels being used to communicate news? For example, KLD's apology regarding the Black Cats bar and significant senior staffing appointments have not featured. Krill's presence at this meeting reflects the commitment of the board to fan engagement. The club are going to use the forthcoming Sunderland Till I Die series as an opportunity to engage with fans, both within and beyond normal parameters. There will be a launch event and an associated retail product range released. I'd like to establish a ticketing and stadium working groups within the supporters collective. Do you have any feedback on other topics or issues which should be included? There are going to be roadshows and talk-ins involving the senior leadership team across the region starting in March. The recent watch party at the Seaburn Stack was very successful and streamed to Quinn's Sports Bar. There will be more open training sessions planned this season. The players are making approximately 2 community appearances per week, giving back as a part of the club's ongoing commitment to having more interaction with the fans. A new fan reporting service will be launched at the end of the season as a Matchdays for everyone, and our stadium environment should reflect that. A new pre-match experience has been implemented at the stadium designed to help with the atmosphere and fan connectivity, with new starting 11 graphics and other club rituals included. Ongoing dialogue with British esports is continuing to build a new matchday journey to young fans, and longer term work is ongoing to build moments in our calendar that celebrate SAFC. Heroes Week, Remembrance Weekend, and a new Player of the Season night will be launched at the end of the year. Football has more to do when it comes to equality, diversity and inclusion, and that must be central to the club's thinking. The EFL's Together project will drive work in this area. The club would like to establish an LGBTQ+ fan group within the next year and would welcome support from within the fan base to achieve that. The club has been offered for the past 2 years the FSA's Fan for Diversity campaign for both consultation and potential funding without any take-up. We have grew as a club. There are 15% more staff in 2023 at Sunderland, but we need more people and we're still growing. Can the club release an organisational chart showing key working areas and plans? Key personnel information should already be available on our website. Most companies publish service level plans. Our club can consider doing this too. Is there an option for a fans charter in the future? The club's commitments to fans must be explicit. Next meeting to be set by the club by Friday the 2nd of February. The catering options in the Black Cats bar doesn't include food, but funky street food, which is pies and burgers. Why is there no access to Quinn's Sports Bar after the match? The club is exploring how fans use all levels of hospitality to determine the future of our hospitality offerings, what they will look like, and a broader project is planned around this. The club need to grasp the opportunity that this meeting offers. We can now fully understand the mood of the fans, make tangible improvements and commitments, and start rebuilding relations with the wider fan base. I want to disassociate with many Sunderland fans from the vile personal comments made online about certain club employees. Fans do have a right to criticise, but some of the comments have gone too far. In response to a question about the 24-25 season tickets, pricing discussions are currently taking place internally. Pre-season arrangements will be announced at the beginning of February and will include travel detail packages. Thank you for the honest and informative feedback, your hard work and dedication. My desire for the club is for this club to continue learning and improving. The 3-year anniversary of me coming on board at SFC has just passed. I'm proud and grateful for all the work that has been done. We are rebuilding the club, but I'll reiterate that the process is not complete and further progress must be made. Although this is a challenging moment, I now better understand the recent frustrations experienced by fans. I'm excited by the future and hope to experience many more good moments alongside the club's supporters. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I'm Anthony Mackem. If you enjoyed this video, or if you found it informative at the very least, smash a like and please, if you're not already, subscribe. Also, I just want to call out, it is now the 19th of the 2nd, so over a month since this meeting took place. I will be doing more of these videos for each and every public meetings minutes going forward as well, so keep an eye on the channel for all future breakdowns and reporting on what they actually say in those meetings. Catch you next time.